Today we got I made 59,000 flipping action junk. Go on like, comment, subscribe, got an educate journey to 1 mil. Shout out Heavy D Sparks for the video. Let's get it started.
To walk away from this one. So I bid on a Chevy Suburban, Freightliner Cascadia, Kenworth T660,
Damn.
International 4300, Harley Davidson, Cricket,
Dang.
Wreck Trailer, and then that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
And that's it, he said.
My version
That's
of
a lot.
paradise.
Today we find Dave Sparks, a seasoned veteran in recovery, aviation, and believe it or not, negotiations. You see, Dave has many hobbies and skills.
Negotiations,
One being buying and selling
eh?
vehicles.
He's a negotiator,
Lucky
eh?
for you, he's going to take you through his process of flipping vehicles through the auto auction.
50, 60, 80.
Come out on top,
Every
or
time I
end
hear
up in the
negotiation.
red.
We are here at the auto auction.
Bro,
And
has
this
a
place
Cybertruck with
holds
the
a
raw,
very,
that's
very
hard.
special spot in my heart. This is pretty much how I built my business. This is how I got my start. This is where I made my first couple of bucks. And for those of you who know my story, you know that I didn't come from money. Like, I came from no money at all. My parents gave me nothing. They did their best. But my dad passed away, when I was 21, and I was left kind of with, my family, my mom to take care of. I have just been grinding away ever since, and part of that process was basically
Dang, that's dope.
learning how to buy and sell stuff and make money on it. So what I did is I went out and got a dealership license, which at the time was a pretty hard thing to do because you had to have money, you had to have all these different things that I didn't have. And I built my
Dealership license?
dealership, and I built my dealership based off of a principle that I learned from a good friend of mine named Rich Eggett, who happens to be the owner of Rockwell Watches. Rich is like a mentor to me. He's a great friend, just a good dude. I worked for him when I was 18, and one thing that he taught me that stuck with me is there's a but for every seat. I go after vehicles that the other buyers don't go after, because on this side of the auction over here, you see a bunch of brand new, late model, low mile. These are lease returns, dealer trade-ins. This is the stuff that most dealers come to the auction to try to buy, because this is something they can buy. It's turnkey. They detail it, put it on their lot, and they make anywhere between $500 to $2,500 per vehicle, in profit. Now, that is for big dealerships who have a good program where they can make money on financing, they can make money on warranty, they make a bunch of other money, so they don't have to make as much money on the actual sale of the vehicle. Since I started with no money, I had to learn how to buy stuff that was cheap and make as much money as I could on each vehicle. So my goal was always to try to double my money, but the only way you can do that is by bidding on something that other people either don't want, don't understand, or are scared of. And believe it or not, there's a lot of that. Now, I don't buy wrecked cars as much as I used to, just because there's already a market for salvage and rebuilt cars, and it's kind of hard to make money. And honestly, it's a lot of headache because people buy a newly rebuilt car from you and they expect it to be new, but it was wrecked and it's just never perfect. So we kind of shied away from buying the heavily stuff, and instead started
Might learn something here today. Y'all learn how to make some money. Get it.
focus on buying.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
If you're anything like me, which I know a lot of you guys are, you probably use your truck as a mobile.
This
A
is
lot of
sponsor.
rip BP.
Yeah. No free promo, my boy, but I appreciate you for this video.
Now,
Thank you.
that's so don't wait. Get protection now. Get yourself covered. Started to focus on buying that stuff right there. So the purpose of today's video is to
Commercial vehicles?
teach you exactly what I've done over the years and what I continue to do
Hey, maybe we might teach other
as
people.
a solid side
I might
hustle
teach-
now.
might
which
learn-
used to
I
be
might
my
learn something.
primary, source of income in my whole business. This is how Diesel Brothers got started. We were literally buying beat up junk or just weird random vehicles, bringing them to the shop, cleaning them up, and finding a buyer for them. And let me tell you something. On that side of the lot, where the big dealers are making a couple $1,000 per vehicle, which is usually on the high end, on this side of the lot, I can pay $3 grand for something and sometimes sell it for 10, 15, 20, 30 grand.
Damn.
I used to buy like 5 or 6 vehicles a week and just turn through those, but our business model changed a little bit. Honestly, it changed because the economy changed. 2016, the car market started to go like this, and it continued to go like this into COVID. 21, 22, 23, prices were just climbing because supply chain was, rough. Our country is in a state of like hyperinflation. The economy is not doing great. Interest rates
Damn.
are way up. A lot of people are losing their jobs, and what that means is there's a lot of opportunity, because
A
when
lot of people are losing their jobs.
banks loan money on a vehicle and the customer can't pay, that's when the bank comes in and repos the vehicle. So I've always loved repos. But repo vehicles and some of these, special needs vehicles usually have some sort of issue or quirk or something that needs to be worked out. And that's why I originally built my shop in the first place. Now, the way the auction works is there's a thing called basically like a pure sale, like true sale, meaning whatever the highest bid is, that vehicle sells. There's no reserve. And then there's some vehicles that have reserve amounts put on them. So what that means is if the bank is selling this Toyota right here, so let's say this vehicle is worth 20 grand. And the bank brought it back and they're like, oh, we got to get 7,500 bucks out of it. So you jump online and start bidding. Since it's kind of a special vehicle that has some quirks and problems, people aren't going to pay a lot of money for it. They don't want a project. They want turnkey, easy to sell vehicles. That's not what I want. I want something that I got to put a little bit of a sweat equity into. So let's say this vehicle, the bank's reserve is $7,500. And I'm bidding, and the bid only goes up to $3,500. Well, I'm way below the bank's, set amount. So what happens is they do what's called an if sale. And now the if sale is basically conditional based upon whether or not the bank is willing to accept your offer. The bank will do one of two things. They'll either just say no, and then they'll run it through the sale the next week and won't even try to counter, or two, they will counter offer and they'll try to meet you somewhere in the middle. They could call back and say, hey, you can have it for $5,500. That's the counter offer. And then I come here and search, check it out and figure out where I want to be. I would say more often than not, I end up going through and purchasing whatever the bank counter offers. So I bid on a 2009 Chevy Suburban.
Okay.
I bid on a
Kind of get it.
2015 Freightliner Cascadia. I bid on a 2018 Kenworth T660. I bid on a 2009 International 4300. I bid on a 2022 Ford F.
Damn, bro's making money.
550.
I ain't gonna lie, bro's making money. We can bid that many times.
And then I bid on a
What if they all go
2020
through?
Harley Davidson. I bid on a
He's not even
2019
scared.
Taxa Cricket Trek trailer. I bid on, and
That's
that's it.
pretty much it.
So 7 vehicles total is what I was bidding on today. 4 of the offers were just accepted.
That's what I said. What if you get them all accepted? He did.
Done deal, sold, it's mine. 3 of the offers we're still waiting to hear back from to find out what the bank wants or what they're going to be willing to sell it for. The sales here at Manheim, Utah are every Wednesday.
Damn.
So I would usually come either Monday or Tuesday and walk through, check them out, start them, check the oil, just kind of do like a quick pre-purchase inspection to get an idea of what the vehicle was. Manheim usually goes through and they do what's called a condition report. So they'll go through and inspect the whole vehicle for you, and you'll get a whole condition report online that says here's the damage, here's the scratches, here's the broken glass, it runs, it doesn't run, it has a title, it doesn't have a title. All these different things are usually disclosed. So today I basically just jumped online since I wasn't planning on bidding on some stuff until I saw a truck pop up at the last minute. That's usually how it works. I'll see one vehicle pop up on the auction list. I'm like, ooh, I want that. And then as I get on there and I'm going through the trouble of going to the auction, I'll usually find a couple other things that I want to bid on. Now I got to tell you this is a very important thing that you need to understand. I kind of just wrote the auction off for the past several years because
I'm just listening, y'all. If you don't hear me talking, I'm listening.
I tried, and all the stuff that I would normally bid on would end up selling for like 20 to 50% more than what I felt it was worth. But now that the economy has changed and slowed down, there's deals at the auction again, and this is a very important thing for you guys to remember, because even though you have to be a dealer to be able to purchase from these Manheim and dealer-only auctions, you can still go get a dealer's license or work through a friend who has one or whatever you want to do and get set up to buy here. And I'm going to show you exactly why that's a good thing for you to be working on. My friends, the deals are back, and it's something that I'm going to start spending a little bit more time doing because, to be honest with you, I love it. I love coming back here and sorting through stuff, and it's kind of like gambling for me. I don't gamble. I don't really go play poker or any of those games. I don't bet on sports, but instead, I bet on vehicles.
And I bet on myself. No, I'm just playing. But I do bet on myself.
This car right here was most likely a rental car that was involved in a fender bender. Right here on the window, you don't usually see this kind of stuff. It says, do not start or drive, bad trans, it sprays fluid. So it gives you an idea of some of the issues that you've got. But the reason why I love this area is because there's such a diverse variety of different vehicles and equipment that stuff sells for much cheaper. And the reason why I like that is because there's probably 100 Suburbans for sale on the internet here in the local classifieds right now, but there's probably only 1 or 2 boats of that make and model or of that RV. So I try to buy stuff that there's not very much for sale of.
I see what you're saying.
You know, on the internet and the local classifieds, because that means that I can kind of control the market and control the price because I'm the only one that has it, or I'm one of 3 people that has that vehicle for sale in the state. The type of stuff that I'm always looking for, dump trucks, old railroad equipment, that right there, big money.
People use it for commercial.
And you're like, well, dude, it's an old beat up dump truck. It's been wrecked. It's still got, you know, all the railroad stickers on it. That's not a turnkey, ready to work truck. And you're right. But what a lot of people don't understand is I can buy this truck, get a hood for $1,500, paint the whole truck for $3 or $4 grand.
Yep.
So this is a 2007 Sterling. I could probably buy it for about 10 grand. And I'll bet you this truck
sell it for like 30, 40 grand.
Now on the local classified site sells for 25, 30. So there's a good $10,000 to $20,000 that could be made right here. So this type of stuff is what I really, really like, because brand new, that truck was easily probably $250,000. So we've got a list of vehicles, and the first step is coming and finding where they're at. So we're looking for a Freightliner, which is this guy right here. This was an easy find because we're already over here. It's a 2015 Freightliner Cascadia, and I got it for $8,500. Since it's a heavy truck,
$8,500 is not bad.
And this
For that big ass truck?
Doesn't specialize in working on heavy trucks. They don't know much about it. So on the listing, it said that they couldn't get the engine size. They couldn't figure out what the engine size was, and the reason for that is they couldn't open the hood. Somebody just didn't take the time to do it or didn't know how to do it. For whatever reason, they just don't fuss around with this stuff as much, which I love because it's a big question mark when it's... sells. And a lot of people, when they're bidding online or in person, they're like, oh, I don't know anything about that. And the auction, you know, doesn't have any sort of guarantees because it's being sold as is. So a lot of people pass on it, which means I can be the one that picks it up because I understand this stuff much better than others. The auctioneer started the bidding at 30. He's like 30 grand, 30 grand, 30 grand, and nobody bid. 25, 25, 20.
Nobody bid.
20, 15, 15, 10 grand, 10 grand. Nobody's bidding. And
damn.
You just sit there and wait for the auction to continue to lower the price, right? The auctioneer finally got down to like 5 grand. He's like,
5 grand?
Hey, 5 grand starting bid. And I was like, all right, that sounds about right. So I bid. There was maybe one or two other people online bidding, and the bid ended up stalling out at about $8,500. And the auctioneer's like going once, going twice, boom, sold. $8,500
for that is not bad.
Freightliner Cascadia, which is actually a pretty solid truck. Now, what we don't know about this truck is, does it run and what are the miles on it? Since the auction never was able to get any power to the dash, that means they don't have any sort of idea, you know, what the actual mileage is. So I'm taking a big risk. I could have bought a truck that has a bad motor, bad trans, bad something. This is kind of where my blind confidence comes into play, because I'll take this truck, throw some batteries in it, and in my head, this thing's gonna start. It's gonna run, it's gonna drive, and I'm gonna be able to drive it back to my shop after we get it, you know, started with new batteries. Vehicle number 2. All right, so this one, oh man, I just got the response. My bid on this thing was so low, like ridiculously low, like $1,200 for a complete service truck. Unfortunately, that was so low that the seller was just like, nah, we're not even gonna try to counter, because I'm guessing their reserve is probably like 20 grand or more. I'm gonna have to walk away from this one, but I'm not done with this one yet. I'll probably watch this one next week, because if it doesn't sell today, they're gonna run it through the sale again next week, and they're gonna continue to run it until it sells. And this is the type of truck that I literally started my business with. So if you go buy this crane and service body and air compressor combo right now, this thing's gonna be every bit of $150,000, $200,000.
Damn, no way.
So you're looking at a truck that was probably 250 grand new, and I bid literally $1,200. So I could take this truck and sell just parts off of it tomorrow and probably recoup about 20 grand, or
wow,
take this truck, bring it back to the shop, go through it, figure out
how
it's not running because it was listed as not running.
It's so
and I can, you know, fix it and sell this truck for $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, because service trucks are, you know, they're very popular items. There's a camp trailer, there's a Harley. Oh man, they declined my other offer. Well, I'll show you. All right, so the other item
That was quick.
is this 2018 Kenworth T680. This is kind of an over-the-road truck. It's not a heavy haul off-road truck like the trucks that we usually are used to. I bid $13,000 on this truck and only has 600,000 miles. It's got
600,000 miles.
Mission.
Jesus.
It's late model, good condition, and I would have been happy to pay 13 grand. But that must have been so much lower than their reserve price that they just said, forget it, we'll run it again. So I'm gonna keep my eye on this one for the next week's sale. We've got a 2022 Ford F550, which that one also just got declined. So 3 out of my 7 offers so far haven't even been countered. They've just been declined. I
Said,
really,
no,
really wanna see if
sir,
this
Rito.
Freightliner is
We
gonna
spent
run,
too
because
much on that one.
if it does, it's a great deal. All right, Big Ron rolled up with 4 brand new batteries, which is what we're gonna throw right here in the Freightliner. I've got 4 vehicles that the sale went through. They accepted the offers and done deal. And the main one that I'm focused on right now is this Freightliner, because this is a great truck and we're gonna toss some batteries in it and see if it starts.
I wonder if it's gonna start.
All right, we got the batteries in. Now is the moment of truth. 933,000 miles. Not bad, little high, got power.
That is a little high.
Come on.
933,000 miles.
Sound. It sounded like it had a miss or something, or like a bad cylinder when I was cranking on it, but it actually sounds pretty good. It's got good oil pressure. So we're gonna let it build air here for a second and then see what happens.
Sick. I want to buy me a truck one day. Goddamn trucker.
Sounds decent.
I just fucked that up.
Sounds pretty good. I just checked the motor to pull the oil cap, see if there's any blow-by, which basically means if you have blow-by, the piston rings are usually shot and the compression from the cylinders is getting into the crankcase and coming out the oil cap. I didn't see any, but it's also not hot yet. So we're gonna let it run for a second, build some air pressure,
Let it run.
and see what happens.
See what happens. See what blows up in his face. It's nice.
I really like that. Clutch feels good, transmission feels good, motor's running good, no check engine lights. We might have ourselves a winner right here.
Dang.
Alright, well I'm feeling pretty good about that purchase so far. It runs and drives just about perfect. I think there's some money to be made on that one. So, feeling good. Let's go in and find the Harley, the camp trailer, and the Suburban. So this Harley,
Can't wait for the Harley.
$3,500 was the bid, plus about $135 in auction fees. So $36.35 is the balance due. I will tell you before I get to that, I was this close to buying this KTM. This is called the Duke. It's a 790cc, kind of a hybrid bike. It's made for obviously cruising around the streets, but it's also kind of adventure bike style, so you wouldn't be afraid to take it off roads. It's got good suspension travel. I should have bought this thing. I think it should have like $4,500. This just looks like a fun bike to ride.
You should just buy it just cause.
That's why it went cheap. So I didn't have a chance to come look at this bike before the auction, right? So somebody who did obviously came through and started it, and they heard that it's got some engine problems, and so that's why the price was so low. I'm really glad I didn't jump on there and just start blindly bidding, because there was nothing on the auction report that said that it has, you know, engine issues, because they just sold it as is. And when they sell something as is, they basically just say, anything could be wrong with it, it's your problem. Now, when they sell something with a green light,
I didn't know that. As is okay.
that means they've gone through it mechanically and they're able to confirm and verify that it's good. So if this had a green light guarantee when I bought it, then I'd come here, start it up, I hear a rod knock and say, nope, that's got issues. I'd go in and talk to the auction and say, look, this bike's got this, that, the other thing. So then they would run it through their inspection process again, and then they put it into what's called arbitration. Arbitration basically means you bought something that had problems that you weren't expecting. The auction represented that it didn't have problems. Basically what would happen is they'd pull it in, realize that it has a problem, and they'd say, okay, you can either A, not buy it, you just will unwind the sale, you're not obligated to buy it, because that's one thing you need to know. When you make a bid at this auction, there's no change in your mind. Like, you're committed to it no matter what. If you try to back out of a sale, they can kick you out of the auction, they can charge you big fines. If you bid, you gotta be ready to buy. So I'm glad I didn't buy that without checking it out. But I did buy this without checking it out. So the Harley has a dead battery, which is pretty common. So we're gonna try an old school trick and try to bump start this bad boy. Nate and John are gonna give me a push. I'm gonna put it in gear and see what happens.
It's nice.
Now we've got the Suburban and the Taxa Cricket trailer. Let's go find those. All right, it looks like our next two vehicles are up here. Yep, that's our guy. So this one, the reason why I bought this is because obviously it's pretty clean. It's a 2009. This is the type of vehicle where you buy it and you plan on maybe making just a couple grand for a quick flip. Looks like they had it listed for sale for 13 grand. I paid 3,500 bucks for it, so got about a $10,000 discount. Even if it runs at all, you know, $7,000, $8,000 quick sale. So there could be 3 or 4 grand to be made. So let's hope
Know that.
that this bad boy
I didn't know those were worth that much.
starts. Sounds great. Made me nervous. A lot of times you forget to look whether the vehicle's 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive when you're watching it online. There's been not so many times, but there's been a handful of times where I got to the auction and I was so excited about a vehicle and I looked and there's no 4-wheel drive switch, which sucks here in Utah. 2-wheel drive vehicles like SUVs and trucks are worth nothing in Utah because of the winters that we get. No check engine lights, looks like it could be a winner. So right now where we're at is Ron is going to grab a ramp to load up the Harley. John is going to drive this back. I'm going to drive the semi back, and Nader is going to drive my Cybertruck with the trailer, which I believe the trailer should be right over here somewhere. Next vehicle, right there, the Cricket. Now this one I'm actually kind of excited about because it's just a goofy looking trailer. It's very lightweight, off-road capable, kind of pop-up trailer designed for just very basic camping. Boom, there we go. So it's about as basic as a camp trailer gets. It's got, I believe,
smells like one of those tents.
It does smell just like a tent.
Oh shit, that's sick. In my opinion, that's sick.
Go. Yeah, this is cool. Before I bid on it, I was doing a little bit of research online, and looks like they sell for about 30 to 40 grand new, and used, the cheapest one I saw was I think 19, and that was an older one. This is a 2019 that doesn't look like it has very much use on it.
It's
And
a bunch
I
of stickers.
paid 7 grand. So seems like a fair deal. Little trailers like this are pretty popular because people who want to get into camping and RVing but don't want to go buy a new, you know, $200,000 RV, they can start with something like this, and you know, sometimes less is more. Oh, interesting. So it's a stove sink combo all in one. You got bunk beds up here, which
It's pretty sick.
don't think I'm
I
ever
would
going to
use
be able to sleep in one of those. Those
I
are more
would
for
not.
kids. So far I've got about 9 grand invested in the semi, 7 grand in this, 4 into the Suburban. Harley was 20 or 35. So I'm 23.5.
That's
just
not
shy of
bad.
$24,000 for the 4 vehicles that I bought. So I'm going to hook up to this with the Cybertruck, and we'll just start.
That is not bad for the 4
Bring back the
vehicles
shop.
he bought. 4 vehicles for 20K. That's not bad at all. That is not bad at all. And he bought a semi. Not bad at all. Oh no. Fuck.
It won't move. I'm literally stuck in the road.
No. Fuck. Oh, turn back on.
Oh no. I was at a red light and it just wouldn't go.
Oh no.
That's
Yikes.
right. Yeah, so I have the car in gear, like it's in drive, but it's just not.
He's
not
like,
good
what
for-
the fuck is this wrong with this car?
Dave, come on, man. You're better than this. It looks good, but it's not. Hey, man. I don't know. And it's not actually engaging with the gears. Oh yeah, it sounds weird. Dave.
He said,
What? Stinks? Come on, Dave.
then you fucked me up. You gave me the the whack car.
Super close to the shop. We're literally just 100 feet away.
Oh no.
And I gotta open the gate because we have a gate at the shop, so crazy people can't come in because that happens.
Because that happens.
Love
Who
that.
goes to Utah? Let's be honest. Let's be real.
Come on.
I ain't
Yes,
going to
there we
Utah.
go. Through the gate. I don't do cars. I
Shout
don't
out
do
Utah though, but I'm
Sounds
not
good
going
for
there.
right now.
What is there to
Stage of my
do?
life. All right, well, made it to the shop, so we're good. This thing's not really running right.
His face is all laughing at him. He knows what he means, bro.
I'm just
down on you?
yeah, either I'm a terrible driver
He's funny.
or there's something wrong with it. I was putting it in drive and it just wouldn't go. It was like acting like it was in neutral.
So
I
it
went
sounds like
like-
you blew the transmission on the way back from the
I
auction.
blew the transmission.
Seems like it had a good transmission.
Oh, he did. So that's what happens.
Hey, this is part of the game. There's a reason why it sold so cheap. It might need a transmission. The nice thing is, transmission for this
Dang.
thing is like $1,000 maybe. So we still have a little bit of room in it, but that definitely eats into our margin. So everything else was way less likely to make it back here, and it made it back without a problem. We got the vehicles back from the auction, so now we're gonna line them up, figure out what they need, and start adding up the prices and figure out whether we're gonna make any money or whether this
It's
whole
just a
deal's
bus.
gonna be a bust. I still feel pretty good about it. The semi ran phenomenally, so at least we got that. Trailer looks pretty good. The Harley and the Suburban, we'll find out.
Here we go.
All right, let's start with vehicle number one that I purchased at the auction. The only thing we've done to this bike so far is we brought it back to the shop and we put a battery in it. That's it.
Ooh, no way. That's all it needed is a fucking battery? Oh, if I was the person who sold that shit, I'd been pissed. All it needed was a battery. A battery. A battery is all it needed. Wow.
I don't even think he checked oil. I don't think he checked any fluids.
So that is actually great. A little bit of, I mean, here's the thing. I'm optimistic about everything that I buy. I always just hope for the best, and usually it
That's
works out for me. You know,
crazy.
the power of positive thinking and manifesting usually brings good things into my life, but every once in a while, it also brings me some turds. So far, this bike's a winner.
Bro, that's perfect. So dope.
So this bike's legit. Literally $3,500 for a 2020. Miles are a little bit high.
$3,500. How much?
So this bike's legit.
That's what I see.
Literally $3,500 for a 2020. Miles are a little bit high. It's got some dents and dings, but all pretty easy stuff. Okay guys, it has been a few weeks since I made my auction purchases. Be able to sleep in one of those. Those are more for kids. So far I've got about $9,000 invested in the semi, $7,000 in this, $4,000 into the Suburban. Harley was 20 or
Wow. A 2020 Harley, he got it for $3,500. That's it? Nah, he fleeced that guy. He
35.
fleeced him. Damn. I just don't even believe that. I just can't even believe that that's
2020.
real.
Miles are a little bit high. It's got some dents and dings, but all pretty easy stuff. Okay guys, it has been a few weeks since I
Dang.
made my auction purchases, and like I said, we had to bring them back to the shop, go through them, figure out what was going
Here
on.
we go, let's see.
And I've got some news for you. We sold some. You ready for this?
Of
I got a list
course.
right here. All right.
The bike.
Starting with the Taxa Cricket trailer.
Oh, he sold the
camp
trailer.
trailer. We paid $7,000 for that, and we sold it for $13,000 as
Damn. As is?
is. Didn't have to do anything to it. It was like perfect. So we made $6,000 on that unit. Next item, Chevy Suburban. We paid about $4,000 for that. As you saw on the way back from the auction, transmission went out. which is very typical of an auction vehicle to do that. I think we were in it like $1,000 for the trans, another $500 or $600 for the install. I think $1,500-$1,600. We sold that thing for $8 grand. We made $2,300 on that.
It's not bad. So you purchased it for $4K, spent $1,700. So $8K. Profit $2,000.
Next up, the Harley.
Not bad.
We paid $3,500 for the Harley. As you saw, we brought it back here, got batteries, boom, fired right up, sold it as is for 10 grand. So we were into it.
Dang, sometimes you get lucky.
Sold it for 10, made $6,000 on the Harley. That's legit. Oh, one other thing right here.
I can't believe that. That's
remember
crazy.
we were at the auction, right? And I said, here's a list of vehicles I bid on. And then I got an email saying that I did not get the international service truck that I really wanted.
He said, well, actually, I did.
Oh, man. A couple days later, the auction called me back and said, hey, do you still want that? The bank or the leasing company, whoever it is willing to sell it to you. And I bought it. And you'll never guess what I paid for it. All right, fine, I'll tell you. It was like $4,800, which is
wow. 4K.
fantastic.
Almost 5,000. That's
best
it.
deal ever. So it's right here. We've done some work to it. We painted it. We sprayed some bed liner on it. Went through just kind of cleaning it up. And the reason why it's sitting right here is because we were fixing it to just kind of get it up listed for sale. And we ended up having a buyer reach out to us and ask us if we
Dang,
have
that was quick.
service trucks, because we sell a lot of service trucks. And we said, yes, we do. He put a deposit on it. He's given us $65,000
Damn.
for it. Now, with that money, we have to do some toolboxes, finish the paint, finish the bed liner, do a full inspection on it. So we'll be into it 11, 12 grand. And the buyer is happy to pay 60 grand because he couldn't find anything anywhere else for even remotely that close. And I'll tell you one of the reasons why. I think a lot of people didn't know this at the auction, but it has a very nice, very low hour Miller Trailblazer 302.
How big is
welder
that?
in there. Now it's not the air pack unit that has the air compressor, but still, that welder, I think new, they're like 15, 20 grand. Used with low hours, you're still 10 grand or more. That right there was worth double what we paid for the truck. So it was a serious home run. Really excited
For both of them.
about that one. This is the ultimate money maker. I'm gonna say that we still probably have to spend a little bit more money on it. Let's say we're into it 15, 20 grand. We're still gonna make 35, 40
Damn.
on that thing, like all day long. Like, it's the best deal ever. Now the final piece I want to show you is,
Fuck, what the fuck?
you remember how
I was blowing my mind.
and just kind of anytime I buy anything, I'm like, all right, the plan is to buy this and sell it, and then I usually end up keeping stuff, and then I get on the camera and I'm like, oh, I don't want to keep everything, but then I keep stuff.
He said, well, I kept it.
I kept one thing so far. I'm not keeping it forever, but this Freightliner that I thought had a misfire and a bad motor ended up being a really killer truck. And at the same time we got this running, my cab over went in for some maintenance. Had an oil leak and some other stuff we had to take care of, so we were down a truck. So we were like, you know what, let's just run the Freightliner while we're fixing the cab over. So we got a new grill for it. We put wheels and tires on it.
Dang.
Wash the wheels, put new tires on it. Just basically kind of like spruced it up. It's not perfect yet. It still needs to be detailed and paint touched up and stuff. But we have already used it and put over
Oh yeah, they already hauled out.
5,000 miles on it. Now, we paid 9 grand, about 9 grand. I think we're in at about 2 grand more just to kind of get it up and where it needed to be, because we obviously had to do batteries too. So we're in this thing about 11 grand. Each mile a truck drives for us is worth about $1. Because right now, if we pay somebody else to haul loads, we're anywhere between $4 a mile for the stuff that we haul, all the way up to like $10 a mile for some of the crazy specialty loads. Conservatively speaking, if it's worth $1 a mile to me, we've already put, I think it's just shy of 6,000 miles on it. So it's already made me $6,000. We have noticed that there's a bunch of these on the market.
Damn.
And since there's so many of them, the price stays pretty low. But we know that we can pretty much sell this thing like right now for about 15 grand. So there's another $10,000 to be made on this one. But the convenience factor of being able to have it, like we already have it hooked up to a dry van, and we've been hauling stuff around here locally. It's an awesome truck. It is working perfectly for the type of work that we needed it to kind of fill in for. So all in, guys, we did well. So before we add in the international,
That's crazy.
19 grand. We add the international, we're at $59,300 profit on, I mean, we spent about right around 20 grand on all these vehicles. Guys, it's a home run, it's a no-brainer, but it's not normal. This sort of stuff.
Shout out, bro. Heavy D Sparks, let me know. I need to learn. I'm going to like, comment, subscribe though. Journey to 1 mil.
Bye, have a great time.